So we're talking about the Iosepa in Utah, and that was when the people here were required by the leaders to go over to Utah and set up camp there. And so they had a lot of struggles and difficulty that they had to get through. And so we'd like to recognize them for that and learn from it.
Okay, so tonight we had some of our community kapunas come, and they talked about their history of struggle and sacrifice of being an LDS member. And we, us youth of the Laie Hawaii North State, created skits from that. And yeah.
Came here some almost 60 years ago to help build the school, build some building in the temple, build the Polynesian Culture Center.
So it was quite a challenge for me to learn. Now, how much Mandarin do you speak?
We happen to have one right on our property where it's called Unify. It just water just comes out. And so it was there in the 1800s and it's still there. Today,
One of the interesting things about telling stories is you're always worried if the story that you tell will either honor or it might not be a good job, right? So tonight, for Laie 6th Ward, one of our own ward members, her name is Sela Fenga, she's sitting in the audience. And Sela, I hope that we do honor to you and your story. Just to give you a background, Sela Fenga wasn't always a member of the church. She belonged to the Church of Tonga. Her grandmother, she was the eyes for her grandmother. And she met a young man named Hanga Fenga, and she married him. When they got married, they had a baby. And this is a story that you can find on the internet. It was written in this book called Tongan Saints, Legacy of Faith by President Shumway. What you are about to see is two scenes. The first scene will be when Brother and Sister Fenga received their mission call. So, you guys first. So a long time ago, Hanga Fenga and Sela Fenga got married. And they had a baby, which I believe Sela was a couple months old. But they were called to serve a mission. There were other couples who were called to serve on a mission, and they gathered, and there was a rumor, a whisper, that one couple would go to this place called Fotuha'a. And this place is dressed with cliffs, very dangerous place. In fact, when they heard of this rumor, this whisper that someone would go there, Sela told herself that it cannot be us. There is no way that they would send us to this place, especially because we have a young baby. So the very next day, the mission president came to the family, okay? And the mission president explained to Brother and Sister Fenga, you have been called to serve in Fotuha'a. And the only way to get to Fotuha'a is to go by boat. So, with reservation and faith in their hearts, they decided to honor their mission call. And they got into a boat. The boat. And on this boat, was brother and sister Fenga, their baby, a school teacher, and a man who was navigating the boat. Okay. As they were going, the seas began to become rough. Okay. Now, as they arrived to the place where they were to go, up upon this cliff, there were villagers on this side. Villagers. And they could see them from the boat. So in order for them to get up to on top of the cliff, they had to throw rope. Pretend like you're throwing the rope. Okay? And what they had to do is they had to time the waves. So at the peak of when the waves came up, they would throw, the first thing that they said is, you need to throw the baby. Okay? Now this baby had measles, and they told the people on the boat that you have to remove the clothing for the baby. So we're doing a simulation. We just took off Adam's clothes. Of course he has clothes on, but we're pretending that he doesn't have clothes. So the waves are coming up, and he tells the man who is driving the boat, tells Brother Fenga, you have to throw on 3. So they say 1, 2, 3, but he couldn't do it. So they said, we have to try again. Now imagine you're a father and you're a mother and you're throwing your young child, not knowing whether or not the baby is going to make it. Imagine the obedience and the faith that it requires. So they go again. We're going to go on 3. 1, 2, 3, but he couldn't do it. So they said, this is the last time. We have to throw the baby. Okay? So they count again. 1, 2. Hama was so scared that the person in the boat threw him up, threw the baby, and they caught him. They caught her. Okay? Now, this is a true story. A true story of one of my biggest heroes. Hopefully one day, when you guys get older, you'll know what it is to be a father and a mother and to place your faith in the hands of other people. I hope we did you justice, Salam. You're definitely a beacon of faith. She has raised all of her children to be good members of the church and somebody that I will always look up to. Thank you.
I'm so grateful that Terry did the story. I don't know how to tell story.
Love and peace.